Alrighty, good evening everybody, welcome to the BNR Truck Series as they head to race number 13 as they get ready to take on Nashville Super Speedway. 150 laps here tonight as qualifying is underway. Concrete track. It's going to be extra rough on the tires for sure. We're going to attempt to do a little radioactive here tonight, so we'll see how well this goes. Hopefully everything can be maintained. You see here Brandon Moore on top with a 30.26. Oh, Westberger gets loose. As you're right on board here with Michael Day. Joe Stipe will move up to P3. Oh, now he will fall back to P4. As Philip Richmond is out on track, always good to see Philip back. As Dayberry will come out and make his laps. As then I'll go over a little bit of the race information. You see here 1.3 mile track. Current track temp is 89 degrees. 82% humidity, 82 degrees outside, 46% humidity. It is going to be partly cloudy with a 6 mile per hour wind. They have 150 laps, 200 miles, 80% fuel, unlimited sets of tires, 1 quick fix, and 3 attempts at a green-white checker. To see here, Dave Barry moves up to P4. I think he's coming to take his last lap. That will move Barry to P2. Brandon Moore on top. That's Chris Kamari. Now out there for his second lap, looking to put down a faster lap. I just don't think he's got it there. No, he does not. So he's going to hover around the P12. So, go over the starting grid here. P1 Brandon Moore, P2 Dave Barry, P3 John Kaya, P4 Mark Berry, P5 Chris Schaefer, P6 Sammy Archibald, P7 Joe Stipe, P8 Jackson Lomax, P9 Chris Berger, P10 Michael Day, P11 Philip Bridgman, P12 Chris Kamari, P13 Robert Amaro, P14 Josh, P15 Richard, P16 Kyle. So 200 miles here tonight. The old wonderful Nashville. As they get ready to roll out.
Alrighty, fellas. Thanks everybody for showing up tonight. Let's keep the momentum going. We've been doing good for the past month. 44 races, I'm assuming. But we've been doing a hell of a great job, fellas. Let's keep it up. And remember, can't win it on lap 1, turn 1. And let's keep the momentum going.
See, there's some radioactive. Should make it quite interesting here. So as the pace truck pulls off, as Brandon Moore will bring the field to green. And the green flag flies here tonight in the BNR Truck Series at Nashville.
John, you scared on me.
As they go into turns 3 and 4.
On down, Josh.
Dave Barry on the outside, clears them, which he would lead.
Give each other room, fellas. First class, give each other room.
Which he would lead lap 1.
You good, Dave? I'm good. Sorry about that. You're good, buddy. Just checking up on you.
So as we come back here, mid-pack, Philip Bridgman, Chris Schaefer, John Kaya, Sammy Archibald, Lomax. All in a battle here. They're heading into turns 3 and 4. See, as the side draft continues by the 96 to the 14, they let him go, so that's always a good thing. It's good racing etiquette, so always good to see that. As you see here, Sammy Archibald is going to look to come on the outside to get by Lomax. Oh, as John is in the wall. What a save.
Sorry, John. Oh, no, totally my fault, buddy. Totally my fault.
What a save by John. Unfortunately, Lomax had nowhere to go. So, caught the pickle there. Saved it. Didn't bring out a caution, which is good driving, I would say. as they complete lap 6 of 150. Good evening, fans watching on YouTube. Nice to see you guys all in the chat here tonight, coming on out, voting for your favorite drivers, cheering on these BNR fellas. Always good to have you every week. I see here Chris Schaefer, Philip Bridgman. Philip almost makes contact with that wall there at a 4. As you see, Berger going to pass the 15 of Chris. Chris is just going to let him have it. As Philip Bridgman looks to get a big run, but he had to stall that out. It's getting a little tight. Was going to collect the outside wall if he didn't crack the throttle a little bit. As Chris Schaefer looks to run down Mark Berry, Brandon Moore, and Dave Berry. It's been a good run every week by Chris. Some unfortunate circumstances has evolved with him the past couple of weeks. All he's looking for is a decent finish. Because I do believe they have 3 more races after this, then these boys head to their playoffs, so it's been a wild run for these truckers for sure.
Brandon, stay low.
Back here to the back a little bit. 8th place with John Kaya, Lomax, Berger. As you see there, John gets a heck of a run. Lomax closes that door. John's going to look to go to the inside. Lomax is going to let him go. Now as we have Sammy Archibald, Philip Bridgman battling out for P5. Good evening, Diamond. How are you? Yes, it is awesome to have Philip back, for sure. Good to see him out here tonight.
Alright, Kyle, start pushing up on me.
So, always good to have you out here, cheering on Phil. He's got himself in a tight battle at this moment with the 54 to 36 and the 96. So this is a concrete surface, so this track is going to do a lot more damage to the tires than a regular asphalt track would. Just like Dover. Asphalt and concrete. Concrete does a lot more. Asphalt doesn't wear and tear at your tires as bad unless you are side by side for multiple laps. Concrete. Concrete each lap. Concrete each laps are going to wear and tear a little bit more than the regular asphalt. As you see there, Philip Bridgman starting to fade away towards the back. those who can save a little bit better more will have the advantage in the longer run. For sure, but I do believe Philip did burn up a lot more of his tires than what he needed to, but unfortunately that does come with concrete tracks, so tires are going to fade very fast. But luckily for these guys, they do have unlimited sets of tires, so tires aren't going to be a problem for these drivers here tonight. So see here the 54 of John Kaya trying to close in on Sammy Archibald. Berger trying to close in on Kaya. Caution free at the moment, as you're starting to see drivers start to fade to the back, as those guys who were saving are now starting to make a push to the front. So that's something to keep a close eye on as well here in the longer run of these laps here tonight. Lap 19 of 150 in the books.
Mark Berry got back around Brandon Moore for the lead, so
Marky Mark. I think Brandon slipped and slided. I would assume. But it's even a little tail happy there.
yeah, Mark Berry now pulling out to almost a second lead. Brian Schaefer trying to reel in more, but bringing some company with him if he can. He's got Berry, then Archibald, not too far behind. Archibald also in that battle with Kaya, like you said, so.
Oh yeah, Brandon Moore was putting down quick laps, but in practice, Sammy Archibald was on the top of the board. So kind of vice versa a little bit, so I'm not sure exactly how many laps of fuel these guys are getting. That's the one thing I didn't ask, but how we start coming towards the back here, you're starting to see cars starting to slip up a little bit. So
Trying to remember last time we were at Nashville in the trucks. 35, 38 laps, I think, maybe 40. So just have to wait and see here. Nashville can be good for getting long green flag runs in. You see this battle still ensuing between Archibald and John Kaya here, also bringing in Berger and Lomax a little bit into the equation. Almost contact between the 14 and 54, but
oh yeah, Bridgman fell back 2P 13. I guess worked the tires up a little bit too quicker than what he expected. As I said, concrete track, you want to ease on, ease off. Protect as much tires as you can. Don't run side by side like these two are for a handful of laps, because then that wear is just gonna fall off.
no, they're putting on a show though. It's really great racing, but like you say, you really want to try to conserve the tire. Don't want to try to burn it up too quickly. As Brandon Moore ran back down Mark Berry, he's only a couple of tenths now back off, but best battle on track at the moment. Berger deciding to try to go around the outside, but nothing going to go of that. Lost his momentum a little bit, had to check up, get back. So Archibald now in the lead of this little battle pack. Looks like he has somewhat disposed of John Kaya. Nice sunset here on iRacing this evening for Nashville. Starting right before sunset, then transitioning into the night here. So
good
transition
was made there.
Oh, that's going to be a huge crash, Brian.
54, you weren't clear right there, buddy. I'm sorry, I tried not to hit you.
No, it's all good, man.
As
I'm not upset.
we hear the conversation there between the two. I guess it wasn't a big crash. I thought that was going to be
but, my
a
spotter
lot
didn't
bigger
say
than
there,
it
but it's
was.
coming.
Okay, it's still
It's
pulled
all
out of
good.
caution.
I
Okay.
think we both made it out decent. I don't have much damage. I don't think you do either.
Slowing through.
As we come back there, you see Lomax coming in full charge to the quarter. I thought he said, hey, it looked like he saved it, but I don't know why. Maybe because he was sideways, I guess.
Yeah, he was sideways for a good moment there. So
As all these guys come down to the pits,
but he still saved it. But just the way it happened, it
Chris, next time keep it to the right till you're 3 away
before
from
the
your
camera. Okay. It looked like it could have been a lot worse before that camera panned out, you know, so whenever it happened live at the time, so I take it Brandon qualified on pole?
yes.
Okay. He got first pit box, that's how I be saying. Or last pit box, depending on how you look at pit road or how you want to call it.
Yep.
That's going to give Brayman the lead that first pit road or that last pit road stall, so that surely does have its advantages. So Brandon Moore hopscotches back into the lead, taking it away from Mark Berry on this round of caution pit stops here.
Oh, yeah. So,
What's up, Carl? Hey, man. Got an unsafe pit exit.
there you go.
What's
Philip
up, buddy?
Richmond. Unsafe pit exit. Oof.
I just got an unsafe pit exit. What about you? No, I didn't.
A little radioactive tonight. Trying it out. We'll see how they can do.
Looks like maybe John Kay might have parked it for the evening, Brian. That's quite unfortunate.
That is. He was having a good run, and sometimes that does happen, so that's
Yeah,
gonna
just
move
probably
Phillip
got-
all the way to the back with that unsafe pit exit. But anyway, I did find out that tomorrow they are releasing the NASCAR Pontiac 87 tomorrow. So that's just another addition to those wonderful 87 cars.
I think there's another DPI coming, another prototype.
I think there is.
The Acura, maybe, I think.
I think so.
Sorry about
Green
that,
flag
Brad.
back
Sorry,
out in the air.
Super jabbering with Richard not paying attention.
Back to the lead here. Brandon Moore.
I don't think that penalty is going to hurt Phillip too much because he was kind of down there anyway when the caution came out. So,
Not clear, dude.
oh,
Boom, boom.
My bad. I thought you were slower than that.
I think we stay green flag. I don't
No,
know.
it's yellow.
Not much.
Oh, okay. I couldn't tell
Hey,
with the
you got
pace
new
in the
tires?
concrete.
David, sorry, let me specify.
So it should be between.
Yeah, I just got a little loose in the corner there.
Michael Day, Richard. It's a little misjudgment going into the turn. That's all that was. Sometimes it could be some heated battles. Sometimes it can't. Just all depends. Each driver
Richard, back
has
in a
a...
Toyota?
I think so. Is that Toyota or is that a Chevy?
I think that was a Toyota. Yeah, bit of a misjudgment, like you say. Just one of those,
Yeah, it is.
just one of those racing deals. Really, you kind of thought you were clear of the slower truck or car that was down on the bottom of the track when you enter the corner. You kind of thought you got by him, and unfortunately, just kind of clipped yourself off their nose, and very easily can happen. Just trying to overlap or get by before the corner, and then just slightly make contact. So cautions can breed cautions. In this case, it has. So went caution free for, what was that, 20 something laps there? 20.
I think.
I want to say 25. Yeah.
Something like that. So Brandon Moore's taking the outside.
Is he?
Wait, no. Brandon's taking the inside, sorry. 9 is to the outside. And Schaefer. And Sammy. Then Dave. Then Chris. Then Lomax.
Why'd Richard switch car numbers and manufacturers in the Cup Series?
I don't know. A one-off he does.
Oh, okay. I saw that the other day, and I'm like, my man, switching numbers and everything. I guess he got tired of being the 3.
Yeah, I guess so.
Well, Archibald back up here. Let's see if he can hang, or if he's gonna. We saw he was a couple of seconds off during that little run we had before the cautions started spurring. So outside lane just wasn't ever there, never got going, Brian. So
Nope. Sometimes it can stall out a little bit.
well, it's kind of like Mark and everybody on the outside lane was just like a car length or so, like just kind of like chugging along or something. Like they weren't quite up aside, with the leader quite, but probably just didn't want to get one of those iRacing penalties for jumping the start or something.
Kyle Gooding hanging on strong, P10 at the moment. Now move up to P9 as he is side by side with Josh.
Berger trying to find a way back Chris Camary there.
Kyle Gooden, P9. In front of him is Chris Camary, Berger. Chris Show. Chris Schaefer is by 1/3 for P2. because there's a lot of battles going on the track. You don't know where it wants to go.
Yeah, just kind of up here at the front of the field, Mark Berry kind of stuck in the dirty air. Chris Schaefer can't seem to, he's not quite driving it in there too deep, really backing up the corners of 3 and 1, it kind of looks like, so. And then Dave back here behind Mark, really struggling, I think, with Mark's line into the corners.
All right. You see Dave dominating his turns where Schaefer gets by.
Yeah, something happened with Brandon. I think Brandon missed turn 4 perhaps. It kind of went up the track on him, possibly got a little bit of tightness going on there at a 4, or coming through 3 and 4. That let him up the track. Schaefer, door open for him, so Archibald got swobbly coming out of turn 2, then blinked a couple of bits, so good side-by-side battles a bit further back. Oh, Richard Johns got on the inside of Joe, kind of scared Joe up the track a little bit. And Archibald inside of Dave Berry, trying to take that position away.
Camera don't know where it wants to go.
Sorry, Rich.
What the fuck was that, Josh?
I don't know if Phil hit the brake instead of the gas or what, but I had to check that too. I got a double whammy.
Little miscommunication on the track between driver and back. You see Mark hit that apron. Oh, Sammy's in the wall. Got a little tight there, coming off of 4, all that dirty air.
Schaefer with a half-second lead now over Mark Berry, who gotten by Brandon Moore, like you said, kind of did like a slide, put a slide on Brandon after a little bit of contact with that apron, kind of shot him up, made him do that slide. So Brandon Moore trying to keep Archibald at bay. Archibald now going to take a look around the outside, but can't get a nose there, so we're now going to cross him up, go to the inside of turn 3.
As he gets the pass on Brandon Moore. As they complete 44 of 150 in the books.
Top 7 separated by just over 2 seconds. From Schaefer all the way down to Berger, so Schaefer, Berry, Archibald, Moore, then Dave Berry, Lomax, then Berger, so that's the top 7. Slight breakaway than the rest of the field, then Chris Camary kind of by his lonesome for just a moment, and Kyle Gooden, he's going to be approaching on his back door here in just a moment. And then everything going on a bit further back with Bridgman, John, Stipe, Small, so.
Well, next week, these truckers head to Mid-Ohio.
Well, that's sure to be a wild race, probably for sure, because that track's full of characteristics and different types of just parts of the track where you can have nice little excursions and offs. Mistakes are all to be found at Mid-Ohio. Very tough track.
We are back at this track again Thursday for the Xfinity Series. Oh, Brandon fell back. P7.
Yep, Dave Barry and Lomax getting by. Also Berger, so like you say, drop him all the way down to P7. Last of the, I guess you could say, kind of breakaway.
Oh yeah. Next couple of laps, they will be closing in on 100 laps to go.
Well, Mark Berry, for the most part, looks like he has ran back down Schaefer. Just keeping him within reason, keeping Schaefer honest there. Mark Berry's got a really good all-around truck, I'd have to say. Got good speed all around.
I agree with you. You see there Mark's now running down for Schaefer. Oh, Sammy's in the wall. It almost could have been bad for the 56 and 14.
I heard the wall there, Sam. Nice recovery.
Johns moves up to P9 as Kyle goes to P8. Brandon looks to take P6 from Berger. Sending Berger to P7. Where
Yeah.
the excitement is at.
This run of the race, this portion of the race, some of the competitors just, their trucks definitely not handling or feeling like they were, might as well say the first stint of the race, the first run of the race, that's for sure. So possibly just maybe the transition of the track, how it has taken right now, just also more rubber built up as well, so
Oh yeah. Sammy doing a
Mark
great
Berry.
job. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say Mark Berry is challenging for the lead, it looks like.
Watch that.
Mark Berry taking it to the inside, away from Chris Schaefer, trying to keep that truck planted there so Chris can't try a undercut crossover maneuver on Mark. So couldn't find his window of opportunity to get the nose back down underneath Mark. So now Mark in the clean air. Schaefer going to struggle just a tad bit in the dirty air now. Schaefer might have hit the apron there just a little bit. That's going to walk him up the track ever so slightly. So Schaefer led a handful of laps there after taking the lead away from Brandon. Then Mark Berry eventually reining back down, took the lead away. So now David Berry chasing after the two.
I see what have Chris Schaefer in his sights.
Berger got by his teammate Lomax there for 6th position, so Brandon Moore trying to rebound after possibly just getting out of the groove possibly a couple of times and losing a bunch of positions, or maybe just a good chance of the heat cycles on the tire just maybe didn't like it, and tires could have fell off a bit early for him perhaps, but getting a bit of separation here amongst everybody now. So
They are.
Schaefer now really falling into the clutches of Dave, I do believe, more so than great battle it looks like between Bridgman and Small back further back.
Hey, you see Josh Small on the bottom to middle lane, washing up.
Philip got,
Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say Philip got a bit tight with a little bit of looseness off the corner, so don't know if he's going to be able to fight back or not here. Oh, that hit the wall there, so I would say this could be almost at the end of this run. If not, maybe lap 70, perhaps. So maybe see him go 10 more laps, maybe 15.
Right. You see Robert Amaral hanging strong, ton of laps, getting used to everything that comes his way. As you see there, him and Phil hit the wall. You see there Chris Camary now in the pits.
Maybe perhaps for some drivers who are struggling now, pit window is open, and then that could bring some others in. So maybe pit stops could be starting now. Dave Berry getting back around Chris Schaefer. So the brothers Berry, first and second at the moment. Brandon Moore trying to close in on Archibald. He's bringing Berger with him. Something happened to Lomax. He's kind of fallen off this group here about a second, just over a second. So
I wonder if he burnt his tires up here. That could be a possibility.
That very well could be a possibility.
Especially like how I mentioned earlier, on a concrete track, how it's gonna eat away the harder and harder the harder you push. Oof, you see Sammy all the way up on the 23, letting them know, hey, I'm here. FYI.
Yeah, that's going to make Sam almost overdrive the corner there, getting right up behind Schaefer, dumping all that air on his nose, kind of made him walk up the track just ever so slightly. So Brandon Moore is there. He's just keeping him honest, more or less. Richard Johns, Kyle Gooden battle for 9th position. But Kyle Gooden keeping Richard at bay at the moment. Not too bad of a run for Kyle, you know.
He got himself a steady top 10 at the moment, but anything could happen later in that run. As there is some little blinky going on by Sammy.
Good battle here with Schaefer. Schaefer doing pretty much everything he can to maintain that 3rd position.
Oof.
Nashville pretty much can be a single file track and then single groove track. Then that move that Archibald put on, okay, and then Schaefer tried to fight back, but Brandon Moore got around him as well there, so.
So they should be ever so slightly closing in on some pit stops. Not sure when, but at least within the next handful of laps.
So those two teammates there, Schaefer and Berger, 5th and 6th at the moment, but Berger looking to get by his teammate.
Yeah. 36 hitting.
So as you see there, Berger is now pitting. I guess all 3 teammates are. There you go. Schaefer, Berger, Lomax.
Josh Small just cracked inside the top 10 with a pass on Joe Stipe right before these pit stops started to occur, so
13 pitting this time.
that is Joe Stipe committing to pit road, so Dave Barry was actually running down his brother Mark before this cycle of pit stops was occurring.
Oh yeah.
He got under a second, kind of got to 7/10, and at the moment kind of stalled out. Have to see.
As
you see there, Mark is now coming into the pits. His brother Dave is going to stay out.
It's 47 this time. This time 47.
Brandon Moore is now pitting.
Lomax really gained some time on Berger. Possibly entry to pits.
56 this time.
So, pretty impressive there. He was just over a second back from Berger and everybody when they started to pit. So, pretty impressive to gain that much ground like he did here. So Dave Berry, Richard Johns, Kyle Good, and Josh Small yet to pit. And as I say that, David comes down and pits. So Dave coming into pits.
28 pitting. 28 pitting.
See there, Josh is now making his pit stop.
I most certainly do believe we're going to have to see one more pit stop, Brian.
I do believe so.
Kind of like it was last week with, what was it, the
51 this time by.
I want to say Truck no, Cup Series, I think.
Might have been the Cup.
Yeah, because the Cup Series was the only track on a mile and a half last week, yes.
Pitting.
I think,
Well, you
right?
guys don't listen, do you?
Oh,
Constantly hear your voice.
Oh,
something. Oh, man. Major stack up there.
Sorry about that, Phil. You disappeared whenever you smoked the wall there.
Philip Bridgman on fresh tires coming out of the pits. Getting up to speed with Robert Emerald, and looked like he was trying to get up to speed past Robert, and on those cold fresh tires just got out to the outside, got up out of the groove up in the marbles, and did a tank slapper up into the wall. Unfortunately, Dave Berry caught him, it looked like. So lots of damage, possibly on the 2 truck, and front end damage, one would suspect, on Dave Berry. So surprised that was not a caution. Don't know what trouble or tragedy Richard Johns faced. We heard it, but didn't get to see it when, guess he was trying to make his pit stop there. So
yeah, he was trying to make the pit stop, and he called it out beforehand, and I guess
Thanks, Robert.
the other car wasn't really aware of where he was and was riding the bottom lane as Richard was coming down. to make his pit stop, and then they had some little contact.
Chris Schaefer currently in the lead, but Mark Berry chasing him back down. Mark Berry taking the lead away from Schaefer, or attempting to. Here Schaefer trying to stick it on the outside, pinning Mark down in the center of the corner. Mark, though, fighting back, able to get back to the throttle. Schaefer still there for just a moment, but Schaefer ran a bit wider, I think, than he wanted to. Mark's going to take the lead back away from Chris Schaefer here. Berger in the third position. He gained a lot of time and ground during that cycle of pit stops when in between where everybody pitted and ordeals and what happened. Everybody trying to come out, back out onto the track, get back up to speed. Archibald is now out of the race for some reason.
Yeah, I think something happened to him. Oh, there it is. Not too sure what happened. Maybe a meatball from hitting the wall.
And he did hit the wall pretty good, so don't know, like you say, if the impact broke something or what did happen to the 14 machine, but nevertheless, he is the second competitor to fall out of the race.
As they are a couple of laps over halfway, ever so slightly ticking the laps down. So we will go to our favorite part of the night, our little cutaway for a brief moment of time. I want you guys listen to the sounds of these truckers and enjoy. As we get back to the action here. Mark Berry, Brandon Moore. Josh Small, Joe Stipe.
Yes, I forgot to unmute the Discord as well, so I've been steadily talking with you this entire time. But, yeah, Braden Moore got by Berger for that second place, and then Lomex's tires kind of fell off, or at least kind of put him where he was running time of pit cycle stops occurred, so everybody from when they came in to when they left pits, I guess you could say is where they're running now, because some drivers like Brandon Moore stayed out extra few laps than some of his competitors, so he kind of has a tire advantage in the top 5 currently. Dave Barry probably struggling with that front end after that contact him and Philip Bridgman made coming out of turn 4. So Dave probably going to be struggling with that unless he could get a caution and repair that damage. But that's probably going to hamper him a lot, because he would probably be up there right behind Brandon Moore if it wasn't for that. But
yeah, that early contact with him and Phillip.
Well, I wouldn't really call it early, Brian. It was about. It was. Well, like during that cycle of pit stops is when it occurred. You know, him and Robert came out of the pits, I guess, together. He was behind Robert. They were both coming up to speed, and then that just him getting up out of the groove in turn 4, I guess you could say. He was trying to pass Robert on those fresh tires, and just so happens, you know, Dave Barry, they were trying to come through at that time as well, and just one of those nowhere to go incidences. But now Berger is kind of plateaued, so Brandon Moore trying to run down that big buffer of a deficit that Mark Berry has obtained. Yeah, we saw Chris Camary come back down pit road just a few laps ago, Brian. Don't know.
Well, that was his scheduled pit.
You think so? You think?
Because remember, he pitted like a handful of laps way earlier than these guys.
Yeah, he pitted at lap 61, so that would his strategy kind of cut it in half, like we saw, or take it to a certain point, like we saw in the Cup Series Saturday night with you guys. You got to a certain point after. I'm trying to remember what lap it was, but basically one person started to pit, and that led everybody down a bit earlier. I was thinking you guys were going to go at least 10 more laps, but sometimes once one person comes in, it can kind of lead everybody back in or down, I guess you could say. So
Yeah, normally when
Because
you get one down, then a lot more come down too. Because then they don't realize, oh crap, now I gotta come down the pit. I didn't realize how many laps were left. And then
I would say Chris Kamari in the 15, he's about a good 15 lap, maybe that, nah, he's, well, yeah, just about. He pitted late. Brandon Moore pitted, I want to say, 77, 78, right? So he
Yeah.
pitted a good, yeah, that's 18 laps, right? So
close enough to it.
I don't. We who did it? Who started that short pit Saturday? I'm trying to remember back to Saturday because this, just the way this race's strategy kind of unfolded today is kind of like how it did Saturday in a sense. But
47 pitting in.
20 pitting this time.
I don't remember who did.
Got a load of Chris.
good chance, good possibility that Brandon Moore short pitting here before the race leader.
As you see there, Mark is now pitting.
I think Brandon was just under 3 seconds when this pit cycle started, so if he can have a tremendous get in and get out, and Mark just, you know, be casual, I guess, because we've seen Mark, I guess, just take it super conservative.
Burger through the grass.
13 pitting this side.
I don't know if he had contact with his teammate or what happened there. Maybe just got loose with cold tires, perhaps, coming off of turn 4.
I would say so, probably.
Yeah, yes, that's exactly what happened. I saw it in the stream, Brian. He just gets loose. Yep.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
Man.
It's gonna hurt big time.
Oh yes, he was having a good. He was having a fantastic run tonight, Brian, and just, you know, coming out of pits with cold, fresh tires, you know, and on a concrete track, it's going to take a very good minute, you know, to get these tires up to temp where they're supposed to be, and that type of slide, you doing that to your fresh tires, really going to hurt in this 30 some odd lap dash to the finish, right? So got to be careful, got to, you know, we say it each and every week, each and every race, got to be mistake free if you can. And Berg was running a fantastic race. You got to say, you know, for the most part, he was probably going to get a top 5. Oh, Michael Day having problems.
Yeah, he made it.
Turned into Rick Allen there for a moment.
30 laps to go next time by.
Michael Day also teammates with the Berries, so it can be difficult, but easy at times to remember who's teammates with teammates and who's who with who and that and this and that and the other, Brian?
Appreciate it, bud.
Who, Burger and them?
No, just who's who? Who's teammates with who, you know who?
Oh, okay. So, you got both Berries and Michael Day, they're a team.
Yep.
You got Schaefer, Burger, Lomax, they're a team.
Small and Stipe.
Yeah.
They're they're a team. If
yeah.
not, just good buddies.
Yeah. I think Gooden is by himself and Richard by himself. Unfortunately, Philip is another one who's by himself. But sometimes when you're by yourself, you tend to do a lot better. You ain't gotta worry about. Oh, Kyle. Oh, slippy.
No, even if you have teammates, sometimes it can sometimes still be, that old saying, how's it go? All for all for one. What,
Yep.
you just arg me, matey. It's my ship.
Exactly. Well, but like I said, I don't credit myself for the win. I credit the team.
Hey, Brandon Moore is in the lead. Something, Mark Berry. So, has he been in the lead since this cycle ended?
Barry was. Brandon
So
was one of
something
the
happened to Mark. Are you sure something didn't happen to Mark, or did Brandon get by him, like, because of the cycle, or did Mark have a moment?
Oh, never mind. So Brandon was in the lead. Chris Schaefer
Okay.
was at the lead at the time.
So-
Brandon passed it. So Brandon was technically, when he came out of the pits, he was B2. And then Barry was B3.
So Mark is having to run Brandon down now coming out of the pits.
Yes.
I figured that Brandon might get it, some type of undercut on Mark. We kind of zoned out and was looking at everybody else for a moment and wasn't paying attention to second and first and second. But at least I definitely wasn't there for a moment. But it's okay. We're back now. It's okay. Navigating Chris Camary there in the 15. I'm still going to call it a Billy Baloo Motorsports truck. That's what it looks like if you squint hard enough. So Mark Berry now going to look to the inside. Big window of opportunity. Brandon not didn't really fight him back too hard. Mark has, I want to say, a lap fresher tire than Brandon. So that may or may not come into play. But dirty air now, just Brandon Moore being in that position, just having to drive that truck slightly different now that Mark is back out in front. Mark very, very well here, I would have to say.
Oh yeah, hit your marks, learn from others, and set sail.
Exactly. Now that Mark back out in the front, in the clean air, he can do what he has done in prior runs in this race, and that is just pull away, start pulling away. Whether it's, we saw how earlier in the race he was just backing up those corner entries. That is especially what you want to do here at Nashville. And I would almost want to say sometimes at Kentucky, I guess, depending on the configuration at Kentucky. But it's a fun track if you can get it right. It really is.
Kentucky. I like that track. Track ain't bad. Good run by Kyle tonight.
Yeah, race isn't over. Could possibly get back up there battling with Richard. You never can tell. They had a tussle earlier in the race, so 21 or 20 laps to go here.
Yep.
Can Brandon Moore run back down Mark Barry? Is Brandon just conserving? Is he just waiting in the wings? Is he sleeping at the moment, waiting for that time to wake up and drive back to Mark? Or does he just not have anything for Mark here this evening? That's another good possibility. As, like I said earlier, David just, with that front end damage, he probably shouldn't be close to 6 seconds back, but sometimes when you get that front end damage, it's almost like a front end loader on a bulldozer or a scooper on a bulldozer. Mm-hmm. You just imagine if a bulldozer could go super fast, but that plow is right there, like that would be a huge aero disadvantage. Just as if you've heard the term possibly maybe before of like a parachute. Well, here he has no damage, but I know earlier he had damage. So how long does it take to use a quick fix, Brian?
It really doesn't take long. Like, if you don't take no fewer tires, you'll be in and out. Like, literally. But if you take tires and stuff, while you're right before you get your tires changed, it'll fix your car. On a truck.
So possibly could have used this quick fix in that second wave of green flag pit stops we just saw a handful of laps ago, or a double handful of laps ago. About a dozen or so laps ago. Anywho, so there you go. Gooden got by Chris Camary. Setting his sights now. Maybe could run down Richard, but also has to do with Richard's, if he has any like fall off or another mistake could happen or etc. But right now, stand up top 10 for both Richard and Kyle. So even Chris Camary, Josh Small, Joe Stite, unfortunately, Lomax, his run kind of fell apart this evening.
It's good to have Austin Moore in the stream tonight. Good evening, Austin.
Yeah, I don't think Brandon going to be able to get back to Mark. That's too much of a deficit. Almost 2 seconds now. I don't know. Yes, good evening as well, Austin. So Josh Small now going to fight with Chris Camary for 8th position. One of the closest battles on track at the moment. As Philip getting in the middle, breaking it up like he's a referee.
Josh is looking to set his eyes on Kyle. Brandon's just fading and fading and fading each lap. I think he used his tires up, to be honest with you, Will.
Well, that is a good possibility. Or just don't quite have that drive like Mark does. Because Mark has pulled out to a couple of different leads here this evening, so Philip must have pitted super late or something in the run, because it looks like he's got some fresh tires or something. I know he's 3 laps down, but I think he might have pitted somewhere like way after, at least a few laps after everybody did, because he came in super strong here.
Oh yeah. You see Philip Ridgman coming to the inside of Kyle. Kyle's just gonna let him go.
Yeah, not really a battle for position, just competitor with slightly fresher tires than others. Philip had a moment there.
Yes, indeed, Will, he did. Overall, I would say great run by Kyle tonight. Getting better and better each time he is out here on track. So,
Well, Bryant, under 10 laps to go this evening.
yeah, eight to go. Can Brandon run down Barry? I don't think he can, because he's
Nope.
almost 2.5 seconds back.
Just a dominating run here by Mark Berry this evening once he has gotten to the lead at any point, and he has just pulled away. Impressive drive by Mark. Berger and Johns, looks like they're going to have a tussle here for 5th place. Berger, Richard Rand has kind of caught down Berger.
As you see here, Josh is looking to take P7 away from Kyle.
Berger really driving Richard close here. Great racing between the two. Berger trying to keep it around the outside.
Yeah, that's right there.
Berger
Richard
then
take P5 away from Berger.
And Berger tried to cross him up in 3 and 4, but Richard really got down there and shut the door on him. Really kept the truck planted there so he could not get back underneath him.
That's the next closest battle, and so is this one between Kyle and Josh.
So Richard gets a top 5 possibly this evening. Only still have a couple of laps to go here. That is 2 to go, right?
That is
I
true
get-
to go.
All right.
You all.
Like I said, well, next week these drivers will head to Mid-Ohio. So that'll be something to look out for too as well, as they come to take the checker flag next time by. As Mark Berry will win the race.
As Mark Berry takes the checkered flag this evening. Like I said earlier, pretty dominant performance by Mark. Like you said, Brandon in P2, second place, runner-up finish. Pretty good race by himself. That he strung together for that second place, qualified on the pole, but unfortunately just didn't have that Mark Berry speed. Then Dave Berry finishes P3. Looks like Schaefer's going to get fourth. Richard John's going to round out the top five. Berger in sixth. Looks like Josh got around Kyle Gooden for seventh. So seventh and eighth there. Kyle Gooden in eighth. Chris Camary, Joe Stite, Jackson Lomax, Robert Amaral, Michael Day, Philip Bridgman, and the two competitors that fortunately did not finish, Samuel Archibald and John Kaya.
I would say a good run and good race by most.
Well, that was a pretty good race, I'd have to say.
Yeah, Nashville can sometimes put on good races.
Only had a few cautions, and it turned out to be a pretty good race, I'd have to say. Strategy played a factor, that's for sure. And just who had the better longevity at the end of the day, and turned out to be Mark Berry in that 9 truck.
Well, I guess we'll go ahead and talk to Dave. Mr. Berry, you got a copy?
Yeah, what's going on?
How's it going, sir?
Oh, it's going all right. How you doing this evening?
Doing quite swell, to be honest with you. Well, go ahead, Will. I'll let you ask questions and all that great stuff.
David, looked like a pretty good race. Why don't you tell us about it from your point of view, how it went, and what possibly could have went a bit better for you. I know there was a bit of contact between you and Philip. He got just a bit out of the groove coming up to speed with fresh tires, and he got loose, and you got in the back of him. And that, after that, I think that's probably what hindered your run. You probably could have been up there with Brandon Minsigan up for second, maybe even with Mark, but altogether, I think, David, it was a good race. If you don't mind, your point of view.
Yeah, I mean, you nailed it on the head. I mean, it was a good race. That contact with Phil. When he hit the wall, I backed off, but then in my cockpit view, his car completely disappeared. And once it did, I was already into him, and all I seen was sparks. So I didn't realize that we were actually hitting that hard because I couldn't see no car. But other than that, I mean, the run was good. This was my first race here, so it was a struggle trying to learn it. But I'm not going to complain over third place. Led a few laps, so all in all, it was good. I think Bristol and Charlotte had a baby, and it turned into be Nashville.
I told you it's a something else. I told you. I warned you. So Thursday you got to come back here. So what can you transfer, learn? What did you learn that maybe you could carry over to the Xfinity Series, or maybe even next time you come back here?
Just let the vehicle settle in more before you try to burn the tires off. You gotta have patience and wait, and that was the key tonight. And getting some open draft, open road instead of just hanging behind somebody was key too, because you'd get an arrow push really bad or something. Something would go on if you're running in a line. So staying to the left or right of somebody to get some air made a huge difference. So that's what I'll be looking for on Thursday.
Next week in the Truck Series, Mid Ohio Sports Car Park. That is I would say it can be a challenging, tough road course. What are you going to look forward to? Maybe also perhaps struggle with, do you think, going into there next week?
If it's like anything else with the trucks or any of the cars, unless you're running like a GT or something, the track is slick. So just keeping the traction is the biggest key there. So don't spin it out. Try to keep it clean and just keep the tires under it. So yeah, that's going to be a tough track.
Yeah, that track, I would say, very easier than other road courses because of just some of the off-camber, low mile per hour corners or portions of the track. It is very easily to pick the RPMs back up and spin yourself out going through certain sections of the track. And man, Mid Ohio, it can be a very, very big challenge. But David, got any shout outs or maybe anything else you'd like to add about tonight's race?
I'd just like to congratulate Mark on a great race. Him and Brandon, they were up there all night. I mean, that was a bunch of people up there, though. I mean, everybody ran a really good, quick race, and it's just fun to be in the mix of everybody. So, you could go all the way back to 10th place and still have cars, side by side, just not really beating and banging, but having a really good race. So just proud to be racing with the guys here at BNR. I'd like to thank you and Brian for the broadcast, and let's bring on next week.
Indeed, David. Thanks for talking to us, and hopefully have a good night, man.
Thank you. You too.
Get him back up there. Next but not least, Brandon Moore. Oh, B-Dub.
What's up, buddy?
How's it going?
It's a going.
Well, second place, first loser, runner up, however you like to call it, Brandon. So, what more do you think that you could have had? You didn't have that longevity speed here tonight, Brandon. Where'd it go?
No, we had the longevity. On that.
You just didn't have that Mark buried longevity.
No, this is what happened. We was on that one run, and I took it down from 4 seconds down to about 2.2. And I was thinking, well, I'm not going to do the 2 tires now. I was getting ready to do 2 tires. Guess who didn't put down for 4 tires? This young man. So our whole last run, we were on 2 tires.
Oh my goodness!
So that's what happened to that. That's what happened to that. I made a strategy decision, and then I went back on it, and I didn't click the tires. But that's how the cookie crumbles.
Yep. Shame.
Yeah.
Well. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I was trying to make sure we had good long run speed, and I was doing a good job at it. Just got to not boof it up, as they like to say.
Yeah, he really fell down the stairs.
I did.
Um,
At least I didn't fall all the way down. At least I was able to salvage something out of it.
yeah, you still got that second place. Good points night at least, Nevertheless, you still got second qualified
We'll
on
take
pole,
it.
you
Oh, he's quick. I'm happy with the speed that we had in the truck. It just, yeah.
like I said last week, you normally run pretty well here, so I was expecting you to do good. You did good.
I think we did good.
You just had that miscue there. Other besides that, do you really think you could have had something for Mark?
I do. I think we could have challenged for that win if I would have put 4 tires on it. We had really good long run speed in the truck. I was good about not burning up the right side tires, and I think we could have had something for him. But nonetheless, good win by him. He drove a good race, and maybe we'll just get it next week.
What was the biggest challenge that you were having to face here tonight at Nashville, Brandon?
I was perfectly happy with the truck, to be honest. It drove good.
Oh.
It never was really loose. I mean, it was maybe a skosh tight. Maybe it's just a skosh. But no complaints on the truck. It drove just like I wanted it to.
There you go. Well, next week, Mid-Ohio Sports Car Park. What do you think about that?
Oh, Lord. Let's see. I don't know what to say about that one. I usually have something to say about every track.
That pretty much sums it up in my opinion as well.
Yeah, but should be a fun, interesting race. That's all I have to say about that in the words of Forrest Gump.
Yep. Come back here in a couple of days, Thursday. I know you're already pretty familiar here, but what else do you think you could transfer from the truck into the Xfinity Series? I think the Xfinity cars has a bit more horsepower than the trucks, but still they drive tad bit different, but can at times, any track time is learning time. Some might say, Brandon, but
that's where the Xfinity's going, Nashville as well, Thursday.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, there'll be some that transfers over, the truck versus Xfinity, they act different under the brakes. I feel like the Xfinity cars want to turn more under braking, and you're going to have to watch your throttle exit more because they like to jump out, underneath you a little bit more. So there's going to be a little bit more throttle control, but, the line should be pretty similar on how you're going to get through the corners.
Exactly. Well, got any shout-outs or anything, you might want to add about tonight's race or anything, Brandon?
No, just the usual. Just want to thank everybody who came out to run tonight. Thank everyone who came out to watch, and hopefully we can put it in victory lane maybe Thursday or Saturday. Who knows? We'll find our way up there.
Yep. Best of luck to you, Brandon, and hopefully you have a good night, man.
All right, sounds good. Thank y'all.
Yes, sir. Not a problem.
Thank you.
Last but not least, your race winner, Mark. Mr. Mark.
Yes.
How's it going, sir?
Doing good.
Well, Mark, you look like you were pretty much on rails out there, just a chugging along, man. Just tell us about your night, Mark.
I'm pretty excited. It was really a pretty good, smooth race tonight. Just rolling the truck through the center and just being easy on the gas and just try to not hit that wall.
Yeah, those walls can kind of just come out and get you sometimes. Just that line that you either arcing it in there or even swooping out from the exit of the corner. Just that racing line here at Nashville, very similar to other tracks like this, but it can get you, that's for sure. We saw a couple of competitors hit it tonight, so you weren't necessarily struggling with anything, it looked like, Mark, but it might have been a handful in dirty air, right, Mark?
Yeah, when you get behind a truck, it's kind of wants to push up a little bit, so you just have to change your driving line. You kind of just dive in a little deeper, and then let them wash up the track a little bit, and then just cut underneath them. So you just have to change up your lines a little bit when you're kind of past somebody, and just kind of just plan it out. And I was definitely better off of turn two. 3 and 4 wasn't too bad, but I was definitely really good in 1 and 2.
Yes, looked like kind of early to midpoint of the run, you were really backing up your corner entries into 1 and 3. Just derailed my thought there, Mark. Sorry, but that just looked like you were able to carry that much more speed through the center, like you talked about, getting back through it at the center, then off the corner. So, just great line, I thought. Just how you were able to do that this evening. Big congratulations to you. I must say, kind of dominant. Just how you were able. If you did kind of fall back a couple of spots, you were able to gain it back. And once you did get into the lead, man, there were a couple of times where you pulled out to about 2.5, 3 second lead at times, and just good race, I thought, overall, Mark. Next week, Mid-Ohio Sports Car Park. What are your thoughts and challenges possibly going into that race?
I've never raced there, so definitely be some challenges of just try learning the track, I guess, and and we'll just go from there.
Right on. Got any shout-outs or anything else you'd like to add there, Mark?
Yeah, tonight it was Chris and Brandon was really good about letting people buy and a little give and take and stuff like that. When we was up front, we just kind of, when one knew somebody was faster than the other, then it wasn't so hard to pass and stuff like that. So a lot of good respect out there. Appreciate their for what they did, and congratulations to those guys.
Well, big congratulations to you too, Mark. Thanks for talking to us tonight, and hopefully you have a good night and carry this momentum forward.
All right, thank you, guys.
Not a problem. Well, Will, that will do it for tonight's festivities here from the BNR Truck Series from Nashville, Tennessee. Once again, there's the finishing results from tonight's race. Overall, I would say great race. It was very enjoyable. A lot of slip-ups, a lot of here and there, a lot of give and take by some. But I've enjoyed it, so we'll go ahead and close it out. So from myself, Brian Hunt, and from Will Roberts, we want to thank y'all ever so dearly a lot coming out, watching the show, cheering on your favorite BNR truckers here tonight at Nashville. Come on out again Thursday. We'll be back live at this same place, Nashville, for the Xfinity side of things. So once again, we would like to thank each and every one of you guys for tuning in tonight. You guys stay safe. Love your loved ones dearly, and y'all can have yourself a great